wings to rise from the ashes.
Shine bright up all night, we're never slowing down. Fall in love, drunk mistakes, we're bound to hit the ground. Gotta keep this feeling, keep on breathing, even if we're slipping away. So I close my eyes and lose myself now. Do it like it's only today. We got a party for a lifetime. No, we ain't stopping for the sunrise. No, we don't care about the bad nights. And for a second I can feel like this. Make me feel like this. We got a party for a lifetime. No, we ain't stopping for the sunrise. No, we don't care about the bad nights. And for a second I can feel like this. Make me feel like this. Young blood made of gold, a mind you can't control. Running wild, can't calm down. My head is in the clouds. Gotta keep this feeling, keep on breathing, even if we're slipping away. So I close my eyes and lose myself now. Do it like it's only today. We got a party for a lifetime. No, we ain't stopping for the sunrise. No, we don't care about the bad nights. And for a second
Hello, world. Hello, happy Sunday. Happy Sunday. Hope everyone is well. Today is April 14th, 2024, 7:07 p.m. on the East Coast of the United States. Hope everyone's good, enjoying your Sunday. It's beautiful here. It is absolutely beautiful. I worked out in the yard, mowed some grass, worked in my flower gardens, and sweated my off completely. I look like Casper today. I had to take off all my tan. it was it was all around my neck. It was all around my neck. Good to see you. I mow. Yes, Erica. I know most people wouldn't think it, but I do. I mow the grass. I do it all. I love doing it. That's like that's like the best. That's like the best for me. Um so hold on, I'm trying to think of it. I'm trying to find this message here. So someone contacted the give me one second. Sorry, I should have had this pulled up. Um a business that's like a block down from the construction site, and they said that they do not the construction does not they don't work on the weekends. So I thought that was rather interesting. Rather interesting. Um it's a union from what I understand. And where was that message? Damn it, where's it at? Hmm. But yeah, Memphis. Memphis. I'll find it here in a little bit. I'll find it here in a little bit. It's Sunday. Nobody's like been on live today or anything, and I thought I would just go live. I wanted to go over a few things related to Peter Hyatt's interview. He does such good work. He is absolutely amazing. So, what does it mean in relation to Thomas telling us Chris is working the night shift? They didn't ask about the night, but I'm going to tomorrow's Monday and I will figure it out for sure. A coworker of said he's 99% sure he wasn't there that Monday either. Really, Amber? Boy, that's interesting. That's very interesting. Yes, thank you for dropping that, Angela. Peter Hyatt. Peter's link is in the description. If you have not subbed to Peter Hyatt, you are doing yourself a disservice. He is absolutely one of my favorite analysis statements. He's not afraid to, in my opinion, tell it like it he believes it, at least the way he sees it, his opinion. And he's just extremely respectful about it as well. Very much on point. So we're not going to go through the whole thing. It would take forever because I talk too much. But if you haven't seen it, the link is in the description. No, a couple days ago, Half Pint. And his book, which is a very interesting book. It's called Wise as a Serpent, Gentle as a Dove, Dealing with Deception. It's on Amazon, and I recommend you purchasing that book too. He does an incredible job. So hopefully we will, I'm not like, I want to know, if they absolutely. So the city says no working on Sunday at all. No working on Sunday. He was there Monday, right? Allegedly. But we need to know. Deception Detective is amazing. Pat, I think it's Pat Brown. She's amazing. Love her. These are probably my 3 favorites personally. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you, dear. All right. Dino, thank you so much for months, my love. Appreciate you. I appreciate you. Thank you, Dino. Thank you. Has everyone had a good weekend? Hope you've had a good weekend. Back to the grind tomorrow. Here we go.
That are being asked that we don't have answers to. Various theories going around, and at times it's difficult to give an explanation just through social media, and a little bit easier if I do it live. And I know people get annoyed that they're not scheduled far in advance, but there is some madness somewhere within my methods. But it does work for me, and these can always be seen later if it's any interest to you. I'd like to talk about the $1 million question and give some explanation regarding that. So let me see if I can put the screen up for you. Some of my notes there. Make it larger. There's the $1 million question in the case of the missing teen. And so recap. Not only is time elapsing, which is eroding any hope, unless there's some form of a kidnapping where he still may be alive.
Oh, interesting. Boo says, as many know, my full care kiddo spends a lot of time when he was admitted into children's hospital. I reached out to a mom that's now at Jude's with her kid, never has seen the job site running on the weekend. Okay. Someone, and he says he was there Monday morning. Who knows? There's not been anybody that I know. Yes. Now, the ordinance says absolutely no Sunday work, which, in my opinion, why is he going to sit in a camper all weekend when he can be with his wife, Katie, right? Claims he was up in the crane looking over the city. His foreman allegedly said he fired him that Monday around 10 a.m. Have not heard that. I heard he was, someone stated on a TikTok video, which I played last night, that he allegedly was, I guess, not, working like he was supposed to, or he was just in a bad mood or whatever, and sent him home around 10 to 11 a.m. Monday morning.
Mother was the only one home,
It's probably really tired.
and this is alleged, and I trust that the police know these things. That's why I'm going on the assumptions.
Target.
I know many differ, and that's fine. But I'm going to go on the assumptions of some of the basics. Mother was the only one home, and she said that she got up at 6 a.m. to wake him for school, which I'll talk about that. And he wasn't there. And she didn't give an interview. She didn't give out the information of what he looked like, his particular needs. As those of you who are familiar with the case, he has autism and he has some specific challenges, behavioral challenges that are difficult all around. Likely, there may be some sensory issues, which many parents of autistic children report, and I'll touch upon that.
Do you know how Chris spent his time off during the weekends? Well, we know that about the long phone calls, but Friday, 4 p.m. till 5 a.m. Monday. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, maybe he was in Nashville Sunday and maybe he left there, 8 or 9 o'clock. Something could have happened. Yeah, I don't think that they work on the weekends at hospitals, but 7 seems pretty early also. I work 7 to 7 and don't remember hearing the banging and loud construction till at least 8 or 9 and no weekends. Especially if it's like union and all of that. From what I understand as well, you're only allowed to work so many hours, just like whenever you're like driving a big truck or whatever. Did anyone see Katie new interview where she was wearing the same shirt like Seth has? So we played that last night. Someone messaged me and said that was an old interview. I'm like, I'd never seen that if it's an old interview, I never saw that interview. I think it's a new interview, but someone said it's an old interview.
So the media didn't give a lot of coverage to this initially, but social media did. People were upset. And a 15-year-old missing, a 15-year-old with special needs, is very upsetting.
Bingo, small town girl.
Particularly upset are a lot of the parents that have autistic children or have raised autistic children.
I didn't think it was either.
And so what it became was a divergence of views.
Kathy, thank you so much for 3 months of membership, my dear. Thank you. Love you and the work you do for all. Thank you so much, Kathy. You're a sweetheart. Ginger Snaps, member for 1 month. How many months before I qualify for a mini pearl level? This is the best channel ever. Oh, thank you, Ginger. You're sweet. That's funny. Yeah.
Where people are speaking out. And some people were literally on social media saying, "Where is he?" And the mother who was home with them and the stepfather who gave that initial interview didn't. There was silence there. And people were upset. And eventually they responded to give an interview. Now, in that initial interview, there were some things that were said there that were very alarming.
Very
the first
alarming.
2 things that are the most important to my perspective is that they did not show guilty knowledge of killing him. And it's something that would be very difficult to conceal. It's just so powerful, and I'll show you why that is. The second
Very
thing
important.
is they didn't show guilty knowledge of knowing where he was 1 week later. I'm not a fan of the expression where he's at, but some regionalism may play in there. But they didn't show guilty knowledge of those things. So very major points. And so initially you're looking at, you're saying, okay, these are innocent parents. We don't wish to falsely accuse anyone, although it's not legally binding.
Right.
It's just opinions people have. And then there was deception. But two major factors that I noticed in the interview was that it was very controlled information.
Very
There,
controlled.
you have one parent that was home, one parent, step parent, that was not home, yet they were in sync with one another.
How is that? How can you be so in sync with one another whenever one parent was not, one step parent was not home? And that is one thing that confused everyone, was why is Chris driving this bus? Right? He may know what happened, but the mother, Katie, was the one that was there. She needs to be the one speaking. I've heard people say, well, he's just being, they're just old fashioned. He's just speaking, being, like a gentleman speaking for her. The word Chris, Proudfoot, and gentleman, in my opinion, don't go hand in hand. And what if there was something that's very important that she wants to say? She was the one there that experienced it.
Very closely. Shows a very strong bond, actually, in the context of the 15-year-old is missing.
That's what it was. That's what it was, in my opinion. It was about, and that's what Peter, in my opinion, is saying right here. It was so in sync with one another whenever Peter, or not, sorry, not Peter, Chris had a total different experience that day, right? Or at least he was supposed to. He was supposed to be, as we know, in Memphis.
And as many have already observed, and then it became even more so in subsequent interviews, we saw the stepfather controlling things, answering questions for them. And then we learned that 911 was not dialed, but the sheriff's department was dialed, and law enforcement regarding a missing child with special needs is now hearing the information from someone who is hours away.
That makes no sense. That makes no sense why they called directly to the sheriff's office, the non-emergency line. Now, Chris says it's because, I'm going to be transferred 24 times. No, you're not. It's 911. It's an emergency. They don't set and transfer you 64 times. It's an emergency. That's what 911 is for. People in the area says that they don't just switch you to this dispatch and then transfer you. It just goes through. Fun fact.
Who wasn't there. And I don't know if calling directly to the local sheriff's department is something that would
I don't
then
know.
avoid a recording, but I'm certainly suspicious of that.
Mhm.
So you didn't kill him.
Now, again, anyone who knows the Summer Wells case, same thing. Never called 911, calling the non-emergency line. Like, you have to, and I would be curious to know, did either one of them Google the Hendersonville Police Department non-emergency phone number beforehand? Because if they did, that's another weird thing. Were they expecting this not to record? It probably did. I don't know. We have not heard the 911 call. They said that they were both on the line, Chris and Katie, on a three-way, which is another bizarre thing. It's just so bizarre. Chris must have had sheriff on speed dial.
And you don't know where he is. And these two things, I believe. Why are you doing this? Why are you being deceptive? Why? And then the subsequent interviews. Why do you have a need to lie? Why did you lead people to believe this or believe people that? And then we listen more, and what we were given was a polishing of an image.
Did he call 911 because allegedly his sister, or sorry, did he call the non-emergency line because allegedly his sister works there? He wanted to tell her? I don't know.
When? While a child is missing. And she asks, well, who would care about that? Who would care about polishing your image when all you care about is getting your child back? So I'm going to cover that, and which I covered in social media, but I think explanation is probably better. So I am accused of an armed robbery at a local store, local stop and rob, and they said that I went there and pulled a gun and committed a robbery. So that's the accusation. What does innocent sound like? And what does concealing information sound like? And they
So, Janine says Katie was on mute. Well, it's interesting how she was supposed to be on the call, but she says Chris called her and said that hurry up and get back to the house. The police are on their way. Now, if you're on a three-way, whether you're on mute or not, you're going to hear the call. So why would Chris, one, call you when you're supposed to be on three-way already, and B, you should be able to hear the call? Doesn't make sense to me.
sound like two very different things. So as an innocent, and I don't
Not if calls weren't merged. Well, they said that they were on three-way. So if you're on three-way, the calls have to be merged. Otherwise, that would be on the other
mean that
line.
judicially, but a de facto innocence where I didn't do it. I didn't rob the store. Well, we have you on security tape pulling a gun on them. No, you don't. I didn't rob a store. I didn't rob that store. I didn't rob any store. Go review your tape again. Well, why should we believe you? I don't really care if you do. I'm telling the truth.
Of course.
So
They
what
never
I've
said that.
done
Yep.
is I've made
Correct.
a reliable denial. I didn't rob the store. My pronoun, my past tense, no equivocation. That's very strong. And if someone can lie like that, we've got some big issues. Always, when you meet a fabricator of reality, and this is very different than you robbed the store. Did you rob the store? No, with a panic no. Or did you do this? Did you do that? A panic no. And then later on, someone says, I'm sorry, I lied, and yeah, I did do such and such, or I did spend this money or went to this location, or whatever it may be. It's very different. So if someone can actually fabricate reality, it's very concerning. However, when they're asked, why should you be believed? If I can look at my words, I did not rob the
QFG.
store, and then use the pronoun I and communication language told or telling and the word truth together, I'm now looking at my own words and I'm lying about it. That is an incredibly dangerous person. That person poses a risk to society, and it's very rare. When someone's a fabricator of reality, I don't work with them. I don't associate in my personal
You're
life
right.
with them. They are kind of
Right.
scary because there's not a certain limit that all of us may have somewhere within our conscience. Hey, what time did you get to work? I was there on time. Later on, I'm sorry, I was about 10 minutes late. I apologize. I just panicked. Yeah, that shows a conscience. But someone that goes on and offers something else, we have to listen to. So what does it sound like if I'm concealing information? So I offer to you in my explanation here, I went to the store.
She called him, oh, she can only be the one that does the three-way, not him. But then he said he called her another lie. Seems like there's a lot of them. Thank you, Joe. Thank you so much. I'll look at it.
Store to buy bread. Now, the first denial doesn't care. It's none of your business why I went to the store. I didn't rob the store. So I have what's called the psychological wall of truth in front of me, and I'm protected by it.
Right.
And depending on how far they take this, eventually I'm probably going to just start insulting them and saying, if this is what you're standing on, you're not good at your job. You probably need a new job. And I'm going to be starting to get angry at for me, the innocent, the ridiculousness of it. Now, would everyone agree that pulling a firearm at a store is something you'd probably remember?
Absolutely. Just like you would think that you would remember in Don and Candace's case with Summer Wells. They don't remember half of anything, especially after 3 p.m., right? With Chris and Katie, they don't really say, I don't remember a lot, but they say, in my opinion, they use the excuse of, I can't tell that because TBI told us not to disclose that or discuss that, or HIPAA, right? Thank you, ATS. Thank you, my friend. Appreciate you. Thank you. It's very sweet of you. Thank you, dear. HIPAA, right? HIPAA. If the first story that they put out, it shouldn't change. It should never change. should never change. Adding some details to it is one thing, but completely changing, you know, what you hear, what you didn't hear, where you were on the couch, you were asleep, then you were, studying, and then you were asleep studying, but also uh hearing your son in there, and you're not going to check on him because he's older now, but you hear a thud, but he'll be fine.
Memorable event. And so at this point, I would not have a need to explain why I did anything. But if I offer that, what I'm doing is I am now placing myself at the store, and I'm explaining why unnecessarily I went to the store. Now, if they ask, why did you go to the store? I went to buy bread. That's not sensitive. That's in response to a direct question.
Don't know,
It's
Dixie.
when it's offered a reason why without necessity either by a question or by a very strange context. If you go to the store,
No evidence he ran away. There's nothing. There's absolutely nothing that we are aware of that would even indicate that he ran away out of that house. There's no evidence to prove that. Who robbed the Sacco Suds? What does that mean, Anna?
all the time, you would not feel a need to explain why you're there. It's routine. Also, you didn't do it. So there's a psychological wall of truth in front of me. So in that interview that they conducted, they repeated that he walked out the door. So it was in the language of both, even though the stepfather is taking the lead. And here's a strange thing. It was, in my estimation, perfectly in sync one with another. They were united with that. And what they're telling us is they know. But if my understanding is correct, you weren't even there, stepfather. You weren't there. What I would expect is less.
Summer's Army. I don't think they actually have. I think it's his mother that has the moolah. For what I understand, she was allegedly the one helping them out.
Synchronization and maybe some slight off details from another. And the other one could say, no, I went to this room first or that room first. And that's not what we saw. We saw very tightly controlled information. We saw the synchronization of their narrative. And at that time, no deviation from it. And then, of course, the more they spoke, the more we learned and the more we saw, and that wasn't true. We also learned that she went to his bedroom at 6 a.m. and she gives the reason why. The reason why. So I tagged that because I don't think any investigator would have said, well, why did you go to his room at 6 a.m.? Of course, they got to go to school. It's it's a norm. The investigator is more looking for what happened to cause him to walk out the door. And then they mentioned the locking. And what this suggests is there may.
And it couldn't be, it had to be for them a specific door. It wouldn't make sense if, he walked out any other door other than the front door, because the other ones make a sound, right? Or he would have to go to Katie's end of the house where the garage is. So it had to be the front door, the one closest
may
to
have been
his
an
room.
alternative there of going to his room and looking at the synchronization and then some other statements. To me, to my ears, it sounds like a story.
Absolutely does.
Now, going to the room and to wake him up for school, and then he's not there, what are we led to believe? We're led to believe that they don't know why.
Well, she says, you know, he hides around the walls sometimes and, playing almost like a hide and go seek. Checking in the kitchen, he could have been in the kitchen. Well, what I would ask is, has he ever been up before 6 a.m. in the kitchen before, right? Before school? Has he ever been playing hide and go seek before school at 5:30 in the morning? Probably not.
He wouldn't be in his room. It's a mystery. It's a mystery. We are to believe there is no knowledge of his disappearance until 6 a.m. And those of you that have been following my work on the case, public work, I'm not involved with it at all, is I don't believe that. And I can give some of my reasons. So then the stepfather said something that should look like this on an analyst page. He said that regarding, staying to that, he walked out the door. Staying to that, while his stepson is missing, the man who was not on the location said the $1 million question is why. Now, this is an expression, probably inflation has eroded this question somewhat.
Right. The $1 million question is why? There has to be a purpose. If he was to walk out that door by himself, which they openly say that he's never done, and he probably would never do that because he's not a runner. They had a good day.
Expression.
Why?
Somewhat. But the $1 million question, that goes back to TV time. And it is to say, this is the paramount, this is the top mystery, is why did he go out that door?
Well, she didn't say an alarm the night before. They came home from dinner. He took out the trash and he sat in his room for hours on end, no bath that we're aware of, nothing.
Now, what would no, I wouldn't even say what would in terms of conditional. What was your first question when you heard about this case? What was your paramount question? What was mine? Where's Sebastian? Where's Sebastian?
Exactly.
Now, we may want to look at later on as things begin to get hazy. It's like, hey, what happened there? But when someone offers an explanation of why something happened without being asked, and it's contextually not relevant, what the subject is doing is teaching the investigator where to aim the questions. And I've had this happen to me many times over the years. I wouldn't have even thought of such and such had the subject not raised it. As soon as he raised it, there you go. Unnecessary information, explanation why. I look for an alternative explanation, and more times than not, that's exactly what is found. Here we have someone raising a question as paramount as to why
I don't know.
Sebastian walked out that door.
I don't see it.
Now,
Thank you,
it's a
Drew.
rhetorical question. Rhetorical questions are very
Thank you,
important
Doe.
in an interview or an interrogation. It is for the subject to attempt to take back control of it or not allow the interviewer to have control of it and to preempt questions. So if I say the $1 million question about my missing stepson is why he did this, what do you then presuppose as an audience or an investigator? They don't know why he did this. He is
There's
taking
not
control and saying, don't ask me why, because I don't know. And by offering it in a rhetorical question, he is preempting that topic from being raised. That should have been the one of the biggest red flags of this entire thing. So now,
I mean, he has to have why. Why would he leave? I mean, and if you gave him medicine, a very powerful medicine before bed, which she never said she did that either, right? She says, just thought of this. She says he was, she was just laying on the couch. And at 10 o'clock, she heard a thud in there. Don't care what you're doing in there. Go to sleep. That's one of her stories. Well, when did you give him his night medicine? When did you give him his nighttime medicine? How was he during the night when you gave him that medicine? Right? Did he take it? Did you give him a snack before it so it wouldn't upset his tummy? What did he say to you when you was giving him the medicine? There's none of that. Why? We don't hear you physically seeing Sebastian at all after you get home, other than you told him to take out the trash. Did you see my message about Pearl River? Yes. I thought I texted you back. Yes. Thank you. Yeah, that's what I mean. His nighttime medicine is sleeping medicine. After he took his sleeping medicine, he would have been knocked out. Right? Completely knocked out. Have they verified he did take out the trash? We just know that somebody took out trash. Can't really tell on the video. Yes, it's a sedative. It's a strong sedative.
everyone wants to know where. And later on, we can talk about the whys, but where is he?
Exactly.
This.
She never physically says she saw her son, Sebastian, after she got home. She says she heard him and she spoke with him while they were in different rooms, but you didn't see him?
Was and is a deceptive statement to feign that stepfather and mother didn't know why Sebastian went out the door. They're not truthful. And this is something that with a skilled polygraph examiner can pick up on. The first two important questions: did you kill your child, and do you know where he is? Of course, those must be asked, but this is a signal for an investigation to go, oh, I need to look at what happened just before he went missing, because these people are trying to convince me they don't know why, and I didn't even ask them. I didn't ask them, well, why did he go missing? The case of a missing college-age girl this morning, I posted on X, where the father gives her behavioral or psychological state before she went missing. And he gave a description. He wants people to know that. And if there was any type of argument between them, these people are experienced in child protective services. So by saying we argued and he was upset and he must have run off, and I'm so sorry, I so regret saying those things, I was trying to discipline him, we're trying to help him, that's normal. That happens with non-autistic children. That happens with teenagers. The need to conceal it, along with the history of child protective services, tells us it was serious enough, whatever took place, to need to lie about it, to need to conceal it, to need to preempt being asked about what happened just prior to that, going out the door. It shows concern over about to being asked what happened to cause him to be missing. Something they do not want known. The million-dollar question for all of us is, where's Sebastian? This was a weekend.
Right. Why is he missing? Why is he missing? There's no evidence that he was taken by someone outside of that house, right? There's not even evidence that he stepped out of that house upright on his own 2 feet. Not a shoe print, not a scent trail, nothing.
They were pretending not to know why he was out the door. This was their unified priority. And I think a lot of people that saw that, and training or not, just said, hey, that's not right. Something is not right there. First of all, why is this a roller coaster? We talked about this yesterday. What up points did you have? What little realms of hope were given to you by law enforcement, by searchers? Why would it be an up and down? To me, it's just down. So then, with this attempt to divert attention away, stop that topic from going on, more things leaked out, including 10 p.m. noise and what was said, all while they were giving the impression to people, at least attempting
Right.
to, I don't think it worked very well, of what a loving, wonderful home it was. And so then stepfather basically went on tour to talk about what a great guy he is. And he could.
Yes. Yes, exactly, ATS. Yeah, Chris, he went on his greatest hits tour. He's a good guy. He's just brash. He's strict, but he's brash. Right? Now, the tour is done. Is it true that Katie has bipolar and was on her meds? I would have no way of knowing that. The only way we would have someone, to know that is if Katie said it. Right?
Could go on
That actually
literally
is HIPAA.
for hours. What a great guy he
We
is.
can't find that out.
It's heightening guilt. We call the unnecessary moralizing that you sometimes see where people rush to be the most moral, often is concealing a moral deficit that's bothering them. They look for a veneer of some form of righteousness to cover it. So pretending not to know why he walked out that door is to tell investigators, here is where you aim your questions. What did you do? What did you say? And this say is the communications. Then we know there was about a 3-hour phone call that entered their language. And they were in agreement on
3
revealing
hours.
this information. And I think because it was something that was easily verifiable. So it's just a coincidence that their language is synchronized. It's just a coincidence that the night
No coincidence.
that he went missing happened to be the same night they were on the phone for 3 hours.
Exactly. Exactly. It's very interesting that the night Sebastian went missing, they had just been on the phone for 3 hours. Of course, they're going to say how long they were on the phone because it's very important. It's a very important thing. Thank you, Down Under Crime Talks. I look like Casper today. I'm pale. I took off all my spray tan. I sweated it off, actually. Had to take a shower.
It's just a coincidence that they didn't call out for him initially. And so this begins to add up. And this is why I land on what they're concealing before time was an altercation and possibly even a punishment of putting him outside.
Yes. And people, let's talk about the room. Let's talk about Sebastian's room. Seth said his room was a mess. Why was it a mess? Why was it a mess? Well, kids' rooms can be a mess. But did Chris see it? Did Katie see it? And it triggered him? Remember, Chris said that he gave us parenting advice and said, if you want to keep your kids' room clean, tell them they have so many minutes to do it. And if you don't do it the right way, I'm going to come in there. I'm going to pick the stuff up in a bag, and you're going to take it out to the trash. Okay. Did Sebastian, did he, argue back at Katie if she told him to clean the room? Was Chris speaking to Katie through phone or video and saw the room and then it just escalated? Something happened? Because, I mean, this is the thing, like, you're not like people's like, well, it could be messy because of they were searching for him. Well, you're not going to search for him in a drawer in his bedroom, right? You're not going to search for him on the dresser, right? So I think that room was already messy. I mean, especially if he was there all evening. in his room by himself. So that was already messy, his room was, in my opinion. If the dresser's messy or if it's got stuff off of it, you're not going to throw things off of the dresser to look for him, right? You're not going to take clothes out of the closet hanging to look for him. You're right. Could you do an in-depth timeline on all the videos showing? Yes. I'm putting one together right now. Thank you, Kane. Yes, we're working on that. I'm working on that. Doing that, my dear. Thank you so much. Appreciate your support.
Right. Now, if the biological father sat this to be believed, Sebastian wouldn't have gone outside with bare feet. This is why I lean towards punishment. The stepfather has too much at stake with this, including his other custody case. And he knows his way around Child Protective Services. Was that done to a special needs child who may have some real sense?
Well, see, Bushi, they can fingerprint anything in the house, but it's not going to stand up in court because Sebastian already lived there, right? Chris already lived there. Katie already lives there. Their fingerprints are going to be everywhere in that house. So the only way fingerprints or anything like that is going to be relevant is if a stranger came in the house, you know, someone who doesn't live there, who's never been there, not affiliated with the family. That's the only way fingerprints would ever be relevant, you know, in this case. How would they know what he was wearing if they didn't go through his clothes that were left behind? Well, was his, you know, what I want to know is when did he change? When did he change from what he was wearing at the restaurant to when he got home? Right? When did he change? Did you lay the clothes out for him? I'm sure she probably, you know, normally gave him his clothes rather than him finding his own clothes.
Sensory issues, not only trauma from when he was a kid with the fire ants and bare feet, because we know those things shape us from when we're young. But was it a particular act of cruelty in a punishment? And why would he have a need to synchronize their information? And why would he?
She said he slept in the clothes he wore that day, did she not? The pants had to have been different because according to Seth, correct me if I'm wrong, chat, didn't he say he was Sebastian was wearing jeans? And he's supposed to be wearing all black when he left? Sorry, Jenny. Yeah. Yeah. So he would have had to have changed pants right? Where would Sebastian go to get warm if locked out? Exactly, Mike. Where would he go? Doesn't know anyone. He doesn't even have shoes. Doesn't have a coat. Where would he go? Wouldn't the dogs follow that trail? Especially being barefoot? There'd be a footprint. Seth asked to see the closing he had on at Texas Tech House. I didn't know he asked. I know it was suggested, to ask, like, hey, did you ask Chris and Katie, or Kate, at least Katie, where the close was? If he was locked out, wouldn't he bang to get back in? I would think so. Thank you, Emma. He said he texted TBI. Oh, thank you, Grace.
You have a need to feign not knowing if it wasn't something beyond the normal bounds of a
I
family
agree, Cherry.
and beyond what he understands abuse, neglect, exploitation is from his history with Child Protective Services.
Yes, he wears pull-ups like a diaper. Well, I mean, if he was out there at some point, eventually you would think he would take that off, or it would fall off, right? They're disposable. He doesn't have any underwear in Chris and Katie's house. They haven't found anything. At Seth's house, he wore boxers, but he wasn't at Seth's house. Very much humiliating. Nope, no underwear at Momming's house. Wouldn't you think that would have fell off, or he would have pulled it off at some point? He hated being dirty. Yes. Didn't like his hands dirty. Didn't like anything dirty. So there's that as well. I mean, to me, it's as clear.
I believe he directed these things on the phone.
To me, that's an interesting statement he just said. To me, it's clear as anything. That kid did not walk out of that house by himself. He did not walk out of that house by himself. There is nothing to suggest anything that Sebastian did this on his own. Nothing. I'll play that again.
What he understands abuse, neglect, exploitation is from his history with Child Protective Services. I believe he directed these things on the phone because I also believe that if he hadn't said, put him out, we'll make a man of them. And, you could see the belligerence in this guy all along. I think he probably would have thrown the mother under the bus and kind of washed his hands of it. Not my problem. I wasn't there. Instead, but you have the strong synchronization of working together.
That is a very interesting point. Now, Is Chris that loyal? Meaning, if he was not involved 100%, not involved in the slightest, do you think he would help Katie get away with this? I don't. I'll be honest with you, I don't. He has no history of loyalty, right? Especially with a spouse. I don't believe he would do that. So, yeah, my opinion, Chris would just be like, wife number 6, here I come. Exactly. So, in my opinion, either he would have to be involved somehow to continue with that. I don't see him going down for Katie because of Sebastian, who, in my opinion, he didn't care for to begin with. So I feel like there has to be some sort of involvement here.
So I'd like to take your question to see if I'm making this clear. I don't always know if I am. I know some people still have questions about the "I love you, mama" statement. This, if I can't get this one across, I have to let it go. But "I love you" in a statement, especially in police and any type of domestic situation, is a red flag. So why is that? We all tell our children, "I love you," and the children may echo it back, "I love you," every night of their lives. It's a norm. It's common. It's a shared experience. So it is not a red flag that someone said, "I love you, mama." It is a major red flag that reeks of a very bad relationship, at least that night, between mother and special needs child. It is a need to persuade the public, and it was repeated almost exactly on different interviews. And of course, the interviews started to expand things. So it's not a red flag. I say it to my kids, I say it to my grandchildren all the time. But I don't have a need to tell the public that while my child is missing. That is part of the portrayal of what a good parent I am. So therefore, don't suspect me because I'm such a good parent. Whereas honest parents will say, we had an argument. It was really bad. And it's my fault he ran off. They're not going to face charges for that. These people know what they're doing. At least this fella knows what he's doing.
Yes. Yeah. There would be no need to hide that. We had an argument. He was mouthing me. He said, "I'm leaving," walked out the door, went looking for him, couldn't find him, called you. There's nothing illegal with that. Nothing. But everything was perfect at their house. Everything was perfect. They had a beautiful day, went to the movies, or went bowling rather, went to a store, visited a neighbor or something briefly, then went out to dinner. Then everything was fine. He took the trash out. Don't know what you're doing in there, but go to sleep. Good night. Love you, Mom. Good night, puppies. Don't believe it.
They were pretending not to know why he was out the door, which signals to us they know exactly why. And it was their priority, at least in his language, at first and then hers later, that they don't get blamed. They don't get blamed. In an interview, liars teach us how to ask the right questions. If we're listening, they teach us how to do that. And this is why I think there was an altercation and there was a cruel punishment of locking him out of the house. The 3-hour phone call links.
Now, I disagree personally with Peter on this. I do not believe he was locked out. Was he locked in his room? I don't know. There's no evidence of that, but there's really no evidence that he was locked out of the house either. It's just an opinion. I would say he was locked in his room before he was locked out of the house, in my opinion. But I think maybe I do think someone snapped. Hey, Josh.
Stepfather to the mother in this guilt. That's why he can't break up with her right now. This is why he used emphatic language or even hyperbole. $1 million
You're high,
question.
Crystal.
In other words, the most
Thank you.
expensive, the most important question while Sebastian is missing is not, where are you, Sebastian? Or are you okay? It's why. It's actually blame shifting as well, which tells us if you need to shift the blame to someone else, we got to look at you. So I do believe they don't know where he is, and I do believe they didn't kill him.
I disagree.
But they know exactly what they did. What they did, coordinated via phone, to cause him to be barefoot, without his phone, and locked out.
I disagree with him personally on that. But I think they know I mean, he says they know where he is.
And so from there,
Maybe
it could be anything.
Well, let me replay that.
Question. While Sebastian is missing, is not, where are you, Sebastian? Or are you okay? It's why. It's actually blame shifting as well, which tells us if you need to shift the blame to someone else, we got to look at you. So I do believe they don't know where he is. And
I do believe they know where he is.
I do believe they didn't kill him. But they know exactly what they did. What they did, coordinated via phone to call.
Right. That's my thought too, JD. Where's the scent? If he was outside, where is the scent? Where is it? Why would he go barefoot? Did she just throw him out of the house? Well, again, where's the scent?
Cause him to be barefoot.
Where's the evidence? Where's the evidence? He would be screaming hysterically if he was locked out, in my opinion, at night. That would bring a lot of attention, in my opinion. They do not want the neighbors' eyes on them at that point. Wouldn't there be footprints around the house if he was stomping, in a mood, or whatever he was feeling. So yeah, Katie would not want that. So that's where I do disagree with Peter on.
Foot without his phone and locked out. And so from there, it could be anything. It could be he fell into water, he fell into a ditch. It could have been that he made it to the construction site and a stranger grabbed him. Whatever it is, these people are responsible for him being put out. If he ran out barefoot after that trauma, he had to be literally beside himself. Something had to hurt him psychologically that would likely require professional intervention. One of the broadening definitions of abuse and the intensity of it. So if Sebastian met with an accident or with a stranger who harmed him, they are ultimately responsible for what happened, and they're covering this up. They know CPS, and they know they have a need to cover it up. The investigation at this point should focus on them using Chris's own words in an interview interrogation, and if he will take a polygraph. When he said the $1 million question is why, Sebastian walked out the door, he was doing what deceptive, habitually manipulative people do. Try to prevent or preempt a question by posing it first in a rhetorical stance to convince the interviewer there's no need to probe. I apologize for that, and it came out wrong on the thing. To probe the topic. Often the interviewer wouldn't have thought to ask such a question at this time because he's missing. He's missing. That's the interviewer's mind is, where is he? That's not the language, and that's not the mind that produced the language coming out of stepfather. So the interviewer would not even thought to ask such a question until a guilty subject makes this attempt to get the topic taken off the table. So when someone that you're interviewing, a subject.
Yeah, the dogs would have been yapping. The two dogs. That they do not want that kind of attention in their neighborhood, right? In my opinion, they're not. Sebastian is going to be very loud outside at 12 o'clock at night.
Wants to remove a topic, that's where you want to go. That's where you want to aim your questions. It is to bring the interviewer's mind that which he or she would not have thought of to ask. And so often we've had guilty statements where someone will give an explanation as to why, or a rhetorical question. And we are to never let that go. It is to put us on alert of where to go with our questions.
Where was that comment? Sonia says, where's the proof Sebastian made it back to the house? The scripted story is just that, lie and scripted by Chris and Katie. A lot of people, in their opinion, think that he never made it back to the house. That would indicate that this was planned. I personally don't think this was planned. I see this as something that happened quickly and had to be dealt with quickly. Yeah, the only thing that we know is that Seth did see the video of Sebastian and Katie out in the parking lot proof of life. After they got in that car and they drove, everything about the story is, Katie, just telling us what happened. I personally think he did make it back to the house. But I think something happened, especially if, and again, not Chris, pardon me, Seth said that the trash video, you could just see that someone was taking out the trash. Couldn't tell who it was. Were they wearing male clothes? Were they wearing female clothes? Could you even see the clothes? So I do believe that Sebastian did take out the trash. I do believe that. I just think something happened after he went inside, after he took out that trash. Maybe it was even starting before he took out the trash. Clean up your room, pick up the wrappers that you've thrown on the floor, whatever. And after he got in, it just continued to escalate, and somebody flipped. I believe that thud. I believe she heard a thud. But I don't believe it happened the way that she is saying that it happened. Either Chris was there, she walks in, because she heard a thud, Chris was in the bedroom maybe, or she went in the bedroom and snapped, and there was a thud. Katie said she had dinner with Chris's sister and niece, yet they did not leave with the restaurant together. Also, Melissa said they did not go to dinner, and none of her family did so. Who was like, you see, where did she say that they went to dinner? She said we went to dinner, but I don't ever remember her saying we went to dinner with family. I think she was using that, in my opinion, unless there is where she said she went to dinner with the family. She said that they went to I always want to say the movies. It wasn't the movies. Or the bowling. And then they went to BJ's or whatever. Colossal popcorn. Then they came home. They took maybe they went to BJ's first, but they went nevertheless. They went home, they unloaded the groceries, and then they stopped by, I don't know if it was a neighbor's house or she dropped the sisters off or whatever. And then they went to the steakhouse. Yes, yeah. But I'm responding to Mohawk's comment about that. September, thank you, my love. Katie said she was wearing all dark colors to bed. Katie said she was maybe you mean he was wearing, or it would make it even 10 times harder to see the person when it's already dark. Yes. Exactly. If she had reading to do for school, why so many activities that day? Yeah. She even said it on Nancy's show. That they went with the family. She said it on Nancy's show that they went with the family, because I don't remember that. Perhaps Charlene. Hey, Stacy. Yeah, they went to BJ's with. Yes, yeah. The I know they went to BJ's with like family, and they went, but I'm talking about dinner. She never said they went to dinner with family, did they? Because I don't remember that, unless I'm completely wrong. Went to dinner with 2 aunts and a cousin. Okay, that's interesting. I would love to hear that. Yes, dinner with family. Does anyone know which interview she said that with?
Hence, it's precisely where the investigator aims questions. Proudfoot himself led the audience right to it, and he needs to be re-interviewed. I have a few minutes for questions if you have them. I'd like it if you can limit it to this area. I'm not an expert in all these matters. I like to stick to the language for my reasoning. So let me see if you have any. Okay, so I saw this as well. Sebastian was required to.
Yes. Yeah. Now, if she said that she went with like her family, that's really interesting. I don't remember that. Thank you, Canadian Cookie. Thank you, sweetheart. I appreciate you. If you received that membership, please thank our sweet, sweet Canadian Cookie. She's a sweetheart. No, she didn't say it on Olivia's interview. I know she didn't say it on Olivia's interview. Where was Chris's mom that morning? She hasn't searched at all. She was there before even Seth got there with aunt and 2 cousins or 2. First or second interview. Hold on. I'm going to try to find it while I'm playing this. Let me try.
Address CP by Mr. Chris. That is also a Southern expression, so I don't know. I think Monday morning they were concerned someone else would find him wandering around in the cold, no coat, bare feet, and Sebastian would spill the beans. I agree. Great point, Pam. I don't find any guilt within the father. I think there are a lot of issues, and it kind of reflects the life that Sebastian had. But I think if I read correctly, it was because of various prescribed drugs.
Hey, y'all, I want to tell y'all this briefly. Someone just sent this to me. There's another Sebastian missing right now. Sebastian Wright WRIGHTSEBASTAIN. He's been missing since April 12th, so 2 days now. Baltimore, Maryland, 8 years old, male. If you have any information you can scan or you want to know more, you can contact the Baltimore Police Department at 1-410-396-2359. Again, that number is 1-410-396-2359. Sebastian, Sebastain, Wright, WRIGHT. He's been missing since April 12th, 2024, Baltimore, Maryland. He's 8 years old. And I may have some more information here. He's been missing. He went missing at approximately 7:30 p.m. at the 2200 block of Homewood Avenue, wearing unknown clothing. He is 4'6" and weighs approximately 70 pounds, 70. Pray that he is found soon.
It caused him to fall asleep.
I'm going to try to find that.
I think most of us would be pretty alert during the polygraph, but I don't see a connection of guilt regarding Sebastian's disappearance in him. Let me see if anything else you want me to address. Any challenges to the language there that I can maybe explain? Chris needs to be interviewed by a male because it's obvious he dislikes women and is not intimidated by them. He may have been intimidated by Nancy Grace's questions. Yeah, I don't think someone's saying, why don't you interview him? The first thing is I wouldn't do so without permission from the police. If they were to ask me to remove all these videos for the cause of their investigation, they'd be gone. And I'd say not another word. What are good questions to ask? See what that one was. Of these manipulators. Best thing is let them talk. Let them talk. Listen to the language, reflect it back. Ask for explanations. But any unnecessary information that is offered to you, someone that's interviewing, grab it. It is the most important. What are your thoughts on CP stating something the officer said this would be a case to be studied? I didn't hear that. I don't know it. Some people were very upset the way he tries to allow himself to be seen as guilty of certain things, knowing he can disprove that. Like, if I was doing this, I'd use cement or something. It's just really bizarre, very unfeeling type of things to write about. I think some of you saw posting, and I don't know if it's still there, but he was posting videos and different things that show it's him against the world, and I will stand strong against everyone. Nothing about Sebastian, nothing about him. I know a lot of people want to know about them leaving the house, and I think he was behind it. His language did not indicate a guilty knowledge of death. He no longer believes, with the language, no longer believes that Sebastian's coming home. So he might have talked mom into that. So, and which a natural reaction that a lot of people have said is, if I was the mother, there's no way you could talk me into moving away. I'm not giving up hope, of which I agree, and I think maternal instincts agree to that. um, even with they are cowards for doing what they did to Sebastian, even if they did things that are wrong, and we argued. I pushed him against the wall. He's a big kid, and I shouldn't have, but he left upset.
I
Own
can't
those
find
things.
it. I cannot find it where she said she went with them to went to dinner with them. If you've got it, if you want to text me the number, I want to show y'all something here. Another child out of Tennessee is missing as well. This child is from Tennessee, TBI. Alexandria Chatman, Chatman. She's 15 years old as well. Female, black hair color, uh, African American, eyes brown, 4'9", weighs 100 pounds, missing from Germantown, Tennessee, missing since April 12th, so 2 days now. An endangered child alert has been issued on behalf of the Germantown Police Department for 15-year-old Alexandria Chapman. Alexandria is a black female, 4'9", 100 pounds, with black hair and brown eyes. Alexandria was last seen wearing a black hooded sweatshirt, black pants, white tennis shoes, and clear framed glasses. Alexandria has a medical condition that may impair her ability to return safely without assistance. If you have seen Alexandria or have information about her whereabouts, please call the Germantown Police Department at 901 754 7222 901-754-7222 or call TBI at 1-800-TBI-FIND, 1-800-TBI-FIND. Yes, we believe if Katie hadn't met Chris, Sebastian would be here. I agree with that. I agree with that. So, does anyone know where that would be? Where she allegedly said that she ate with the family. He's Smiley. Because I've not seen that anywhere. God, there's so many people go missing in Tennessee. Yeah. I just put, yeah, there's 2 children that is missing right there. Holy crap, here's another child. I see you just sent Campbell County Sheriff's Office. The CCSO is asking for assistance in finding a missing juvenile. Alaya McCullough, make sure I'm saying that right. Ayla McCullough, age 15, was last seen at 1 a.m. on Sunday, April 14th. So she hasn't been missing 24 hours yet. It's very important that she's found in the next little bit, though. At 559 Fox Den in LaFoy. How do you pronounce it? La Follette. La Follette. Ayla is 5'7", weighs 110 pounds. She wears black eye glasses. She was last seen wearing a pink shirt, tan jacket, black Converse shoes. Ayla was carrying a purple backpack. Sources indicate that Ayla could possibly be headed to Alabama. Sounds like she might be a runaway. If you have information that could lead to her safe return of Ayla, please call CCSO immediately, 423 562 8095, 423, rather, 423 562 8095. Had the parents visit him. Yeah, it sounds like she might be a runaway, perhaps, maybe. Does anyone have any thoughts as to where Katie did the last interview from? It looked like a house in the that was her house. 100% that was her house. That's exactly the color of her dining room. She's 15, yes. Katie stated, "We picked up our niece, but never stated what they did with niece. Wonder if Sebastian's medication is still at the house." I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure he is. Sure it is. For sure. Yeah, her house, because there's a pic of Sebastian sitting in the chair. Yes, definitely her. I don't know how the niece is. I have no idea. Yes, Reels channel. It's a TV network. Did anyone check the last time? Nope, you wouldn't be able to check that. Justin and I help the Aware Foundation. He posts all day long. Kids missing, and every day so many. Yeah. All right, I'll make sure I didn't get anything like that. Okay, 3443. Thank you so much for that. Let me find. Okay, this is Nancy Grace, and they said 3443. 34.
He doesn't have social media.
Have you checked his phone?
His phone has been thoroughly checked. Yes, ma'am.
Have you handed your phones to police, both of you?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am, we have.
Has police searched all of your devices, your laptop, your iPad, everything?
Everything. Yes, ma'am.
Other than you, Miss Proudfoot, who is the last person that saw or heard Sebastian alive the Sunday before he went missing?
Two of his aunts, a cousin, and the staff where we had dinner.
Oh.
And that was at BJ's the night before, or the bowling alley?
Oh. Oh. Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord. It's not good. The waitresses said it was just the two of them. Okay.
Has police searched all of your devices, your laptop, your iPad, everything?
Everything. Yes, ma'am.
Other than you, Miss Proudfoot, who is the last person that saw or heard Sebastian alive the Sunday before he went missing?
Two of his aunts, a cousin, and the staff where we had dinner.
Yeah, I was just thinking she may have worded that wrong. Like the aunt saw and the staff where they had dinner. Maybe. Because the cousins were not there while they were having dinner. It was Katie and Sebastian. No, it's not different tables. They weren't there. But what she might be saying, I'm trying to give her the benefit of the doubt here. The two aunts, right, or the cousins or whoever they are. And then let's replay this. I'm going to slow it down.
All of your devices, your laptop, your iPad, everything.
Everything. Yes, ma'am.
Other than you, Miss Proudfoot, who is the last person that saw or heard Sebastian alive the Sunday before he went missing?
Two of his aunts, a cousin, and
Two aunts and the cousin.
the staff where we had dinner.
The staff where we had dinner. Yes. Who were the last people? Oh, that's a good point, Mike.
Or heard Sebastian alive the Sunday before he went?
Alive? Yeah. Alive? Alive? Good point. Nancy Nancy said she could have said who were the last people that saw Sebastian but she said alive.
Went missing.
Two of his aunts, a cousin, and the staff where we had dinner.
And that was at BJ's the night before or the bowling alley?
So BJ's, and then we went to the bowling alley, and then after the bowling alley, we went to dinner before coming home.
See, that makes me think we went to BJ's, went to the bowling alley, and then we went to dinner before coming home. You're trying to get my attention. Yes, dear. You've got it. Justin, is this the case where they ask people to go back and check the security footage from a different time frame than originally thought? No. No, they didn't go to the bowling alley. Only Sebastian and his mom went to the bowling alley, and they didn't bowl. They played video games. So where's the aunt and the cousin come in? Thank you, Bethlehem. What, did she take the niece home, or did she really get the niece? Didn't she say they picked up the cousin in one interview? I thought so. So just at BJ's is where the aunt and the cousin was? I thought she said she picked them up. I want to go through every one of these videos and find every inconsistency where the story changes. That's what I thought she said, 100. I mean, if you say you picked them up, you got to drop them off. Yeah, she picked the niece up. Thank you, Erica. She doesn't say CP. When she was on that YouTube, Duchess and Olivia, she said they picked up niece. Right. Why does she keep changing? Well, I know why, or I think why. In my opinion, why? Zooming family over dinner? No. No zooming family over dinner in this. There's no zooming. Chris wasn't named as a person to hear him alive that day. Hey, Miranda. Picked up niece. Yes. Yeah, Mom. Thanks for becoming a member. Appreciate you, babe. So sweet of you. Welcome to the family. She forgot about. Yep, that's true. She didn't say about taking groceries home here. Maybe it's because she picked up niece at BJ's. She took her to her mom. She said something different every freaking thing. It's ridiculous. My notes on this case are screaming to make sense. I know, Amy. All right, guys, I'm jumping off. It's been over here 2 hours. I'm exhausted today. I am flat out tired. Sisses. Girls. Let me tell you, I cannot do it today. um Thank you, Pamela. Muscles and mascara. Oh, do I have you as a mod, Muscles? I need to mod you. Well, if they ate before coming home, they also ate dinner over the phone with Chris that evening. Okay, you are. Okay. I'm trying to remember. Thank you for that, babe. Well, if she ate before coming home, they ate at dinner. I'm trying to remember. I'm going to have to go through all of this again. I got my notes, but I'm going to go through it all. Yeah, Wise Gal. I'm going to try to do that. I will sleep well with visions of you on a riding lawnmower singing Wrecking Ball. Okay, I'm losing my voice. I'm losing it. Thank you, dear. What, you think my tractor's sexy? That's what it is. How about that? Think my tractor's sexy? That Alive question. I'm rewatching that Alive question. Breaking OSBI is just announced recovery of bodies in Texas County. Reality Moon.
Hey, you.
Hi.
Anyway, here's what it says. Katie answers Duchess when she asks the question about what happened on Sunday.
Uh-huh.
On Sunday, she said you made the fun breakfast, remember?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Fun fact, I made breakfast.
Right. And then she goes on and says they FaceTimed with the family. And she bragged. And they were laughing and they were joking.
Yes.
And then she goes on and says they were having a good time. After breakfast, she got the call from the niece. So she went to pick the niece up and take the niece to her aunt at BJ's.
Yes.
Remember?
Yes. Now that you say that, yes.
Okay. So then after that, they separated and they went back home to take the groceries back. After she gets the groceries back to the house, they went to the bowling alley. It was just him and her that went to the bowling alley, and they played games. After that, then they went to dinner.
This makes me feel like it was planned. Have they
Yeah.
ever went to the bowling alley, just the two of them together? That's the
No,
question.
not because you had to go bowling. But there's always inconsistencies. Every time she's adding to, taking away, it's so irritating.
Yes. It's very irritating.
But that's what I was trying to get your attention, because I have it all written down.
Thank you, dear. I'm going to go back and look at all of these things.
Yeah, and get your timeline together so we can all go over it together. It'd be great.
I know, all these little bullshit inconsistencies.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, hon.
Thank
Have
you,
a
my
nice
love.
night.
You too, honey. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Good night.
She's right. She's right. Wichita, Kansas, according to a Facebook post by Oklahoma State Bureau of Investigation authorized page, the OSBI, FBI, Texas County Sheriff's Department, and the Office of the Oklahoma Chief Medical Examiner recovered 2 bodies in Royal, Texas County. The bodies will be transported to a medical examiner office to determine their identification as well as a manner of death. This is a developing story. KSN is working to provide more information. Thank you for sending that. Now look at this. Let's see this. OSB has just announced recovery of bodies in Texas County. News conference tomorrow, Monday at 10 a.m. The missing mom investigation. Sounds like they found the missing moms. What are y'all's thoughts? Yeah, there would be cameras at BJ's for sure. So what videos show him playing games with family? I think that might be the... Yes. I know, arresting a grandmother. Good God. Yep, could be. Very possible. Very, very possible. All right, guys. Thank you all so much for joining me. I will see you guys maybe 1 or 2 in the morning if I get a little rest before then. If not, then I'll see you tomorrow, Lord willing. She's very disturbed. Reality wins. 6 babies without mamas. I know, it's so sad. Yes, have a fantastic night. Don't do too much. It's Sunday. Listen, if the Lord rested, so can you. Okay? Remember that. Love you all. Thankful for each and every single one of you. Truly, from the bottom of my heart. I'll see you guys real soon. God bless and good night.